Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I'm Mrs. Best, and we have our co-host, James, who is from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. I had looked at my little YouTube thingy and was like, last week, for some reason, it said, follow our co-host, James. And I put youtube.com/at Mrs. Best Reviews. So I have corrected that. I was like, what the hell is wrong? Why would I tag myself? Hell. But James is here, y'all.
I am here. Yeah, sorry I missed last week, guys. It was a rough week for
Did
me.
you?
So I missed something.
Oh, like should I miss something? I don't
Yes, I
remember.
missed something. I had to have missed it because I wasn't in town.
Okay, you probably this week has been a
Yeah,
blur.
because last week was the funeral. So yeah, there's no way I made it to your channel. I know I did. I know I made it to
It was Basketball Wives. That's what I took.
Basketball Wives, yeah. But no, I didn't make it to Deb's house. I didn't make it to New Jersey. I did not make any of those. Yeah.
Speaking of New Jersey, everybody, it's not airing this week. I don't know if anybody who watches this show watches New Jersey Housewives, but it's not airing this week, probably because of the holiday. So we'll pick that up next week. Let's jump into this episode though, because this episode was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just go through it, and then because most of what we got to discuss is at the end, so we're gonna try and ship it on through, beautiful humans. So the ladies find out in this episode, which is season 1, episode 4. Sorry for not introducing it. Title: Industry Reveals. They find out that they're going to be doing an industry dinner party. And this is basically meant to be an opportunity for these young women to network with actual industry executive people who work in the field and can essentially help with their careers. So this is what managers are supposed to do. They're supposed to connect you, managers, agents, publishers, they're supposed to connect you to the people who can basically put you on, get your craft out there, your art, whatever it may be. So I do appreciate the fact that Ms. Deb, in my opinion, for this episode at least, tried to do something that aligns with what a manager can do and proves that she can provide these ladies with a stepping stone to success. Because I mean, managers do a small part, but the artist has to be likable and all that stuff. So the ladies are told to wear all black, and glam is provided. And this is where we see the first little piece of, an issue coming from Big Dank. And she is struggling because of her weight. Her weight is an obstacle for her. She has been very open talking about it. So please don't come for me unless I send for you, as Kenya Moore has once said. She's very heavy. She explained that she has a thyroid problem, and all of these things. Listen, you still got to find a way to lose the weight, maintain. I have thyroid issues too, Dank. There are things she can do to get healthier, and it has nothing to do with looks or anything like that. But she's struggling with clothes, and this will not be the first time we see her struggle because of her weight this episode. But I do like how the ladies came together and helped her with that. Is there anything you want to comment on from that little scene of her crying and all?
No,
Not
because
crying.
I'm not going to be sensitive enough. So I think I'm just going to keep my mouth closed on the subject.
Yeah, we'll get to it a little later. I love Dank. I think she's incredibly talented. I also think she's got the prettiest face. However, as we get through the episode, we will be commenting on her. I'm gonna just keep it real. James knows me. I'm a tough love type of girl. I'm gonna keep it real, or I'm gonna be silent, and that's how it should be. Then at least people know what they're getting. Anywho, y'all, the ladies basically end up, the next thing they do. Now they said they having an industry dinner party. I did not expect for them to have to cook their own dinner. I swear I did not expect for them to have to cook their own dinner. It ain't even their house. It's not even their house. So I'm just like, what? So they cook their own dinner. And we come back to Dank, and she is breaking down into tears. And now she's struggling because she found an outfit. The ladies helped her with that. But now she's in tears because she can't stand too long due to her weight. She needs a knee brace and things like that. And a knee brace is not going to help. This is why people suggest you lose weight. I'm all for body positivity. Just because someone is larger or considered fat or obese, I'm not the person that's going to be here and be like, I don't mess with you because it is. One of my best friends is heavy set. Love her to death. Love her to death. I don't judge that. But when it gets to a point where your weight or something that you are doing that is intentional is causing you to have health issues, or even
Mhm.
you to be impacted to where this girl was in tears because she was in pain from standing up.
Mhm.
Do something about it. You got a thyroid issue, do like I did when my weight got out of control. Go and see you an endocrinologist. That's the type of doctor you would need to see. And yes,
Yes.
your insurance will cover it. And go talk to them about medications they could get to stabilize hormones. Go talk to your regular doctor about Ozempic, semaglutide, all the different weight loss remedies and injections that they can give people to help you lose weight. Go see about a gastric bypass surgery or getting a sleeve, because I'm sure you qualify for it. I'm not being messy. She's so talented, but you can't stand
Mm,
sis.
right. No, you're not being messy because if we're looking at the outer rim of what's going on here, if she's going to be on stage and going on tour and performing and her body is hurting where she can't even stand, you're going to have to be moving around,
Yep.
performing and doing your raps. You can't do that, be out of breath, and we'll get to it. But yes, you can't be like that. Like that's unrealistic because what's going to end up happening is labels are going to be like, hey, they're not going to be nice about the situation. They're going to tell you you didn't do something, or we're going to just like dismantle your contract.
Yep. Yep.
So
I
that we're not.
agree. I
Mhm.
agree with everything you said. And that's really where we're coming from. It makes sense. And you also have to think about yourself as the audience. Like, I'm a concert goer. I love to go to concerts. I know James loves to go to concerts and events,
Yes.
things of that nature. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm not paying money and taking time out of my schedule or using PTO to go see someone perform who cannot stand for too long. So she needs to figure this out so that she can, share her gift with the world. But I do
Mhm.
like about Dank the fact that regardless on what she goes through and her struggles, she'll cry her tears and then still get up and do what she got to do. I
Yeah.
respect that. I respect that.
Yeah.
She's not
But
using
what
it
we're
as
saying is there's easier ways to go about that. And I think that I don't want people to say this the wrong way. We're not talking about this lady. We're just saying the type of genre and job that she wants to be in is going to require her to stand. That's
yeah.
all we're saying.
Yeah, she gonna have to figure it out. She is, but I hope that she does. I really do. She seems really sweet too. Um,
Hmm.
Anywho, you guys, friendly reminder: if you can, or whether you're watching the live replay and we're not live no more, like the video if you like what we're doing. Comment your opinion, even if it's different from what we have to say. We appreciate each and every human who drops by. Um, we see Miss Deb now that they threw this whole cooking and she had her little breakdown. As Dank is breaking down, Miss Deb comes in and she sees Dank breaking down and she worries that this could be too much for Dank. And y'all know I done said Miss Deb is controversial. I guess I'm saying that more so for me. Like sometimes I like her, and most of the time I don't, if I'm keeping it real. If I'm just keeping it real. Because now you think about the fact that this could be too much for her. Now you think about that. Like, come on, Deb. You could have been thought about that, but it is what it is. We then move on to the actual event. Miss Deb has a bunch of industry executives come in, and basically she gives the ladies an opportunity to network. And the ladies are doing that. So she does gather everyone together to officially discuss and talk and really, mingle. And the ladies ask questions to these industry execs. Some of the questions they asked, Honeybee asked them what inspires them. Rocky asked, oh, why is my memory slipping? Rocky asked how long they've been doing what they doing. And Miss Deb gets upset and she's like, y'all are asking the wrong questions. And I'm kind of with Rocky and the ladies where she was like, you tell us to ask some questions and we ask questions, you tell us it's not right. But you didn't give us no context on the type of questions to ask. Now, I understand both sides because as an artist, you need to understand the questions that you should be asking are like, what is something that is important to you when looking to pick up an artist? What are some
Hmm.
things that you may feel I can stand out on? How do you feel about, this pertaining to what they have going on? Instead of questioning them, I did agree with Ms. Deb as if they had no experience when they need these artists for something. So I do wish Miss Deb would like give them examples when telling them to do things. It seems like she just tells them to do something knowing they're going to fail and then takes and jumps at the opportunity to jump on them, which I don't like. I don't like that. What's good? Oh, so best.
I didn't like that either. And to me, it kind of feels like you're setting like why did you have like a like prerequisite class to give them questions to ask these people since you're the experienced manager? I feel like you did that to one, embarrass them, and then two, to be able to call them out when they are asking questions that are not appropriate to what you got these people to come here for. That to me is a double-edged sword, and I didn't like that at all. I kind of felt like, yeah, they're not asking the right questions because you're not coaching them to ask the right questions. You're literally letting them out and seeing where they fail and then correct them there, which is embarrassing to them because they feel caught off guard. So I didn't like her for that. That's kind of where I stood with that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And I've said this a few episodes. James has had a lot going on, so you missed a few of our recaps, but
Mhm.
I've been saying this in almost every recap. Like, though she's trying to paint it as something positive, I do feel like Miss Deb has taken several digs at these young women. There's a proper way to teach people. There's a proper way to train people.
Right.
Someone who was training me when I used to manage things years ago said, respect is number one. And when you're confused on if something could come across wrong or if you're being disrespectful, ask yourself, is this something you would do? Never ask anyone else to do something that you yourself would not be willing to do. So I feel like Miss Deb keeps doing that. And shout out to you, Stuart. He hella old. He's probably that's like an 80-year-old man, y'all. He's probably not even watching YouTube. But I always take that piece of advice everywhere with me, especially in professional career and what I'm trying to do here on YouTube. And it seems to work. Don't ask nobody to do some shit you yourself would be irritated if you had to or was asked to do.
I agree. And that's good. And that's good advice. That really is. When you look at the core of that, yeah, that's amazing to be told that. So yeah, shout out to Stuart for giving you that advice and definitely live by it.
Listen to your OGs and your elders. They be having something to say. They
Some
just
most of
don't
the time.
they
Most
just
of
don't all know how to say
Yeah,
it.
most of the time it's fine. Some of the time we got to question it or two because there's just
I got a
something.
few elders I can't listen to myself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, same.
listen,
Because
listen
they'll lead you way into the wrong direction. You like,
to the
how the hell
devil.
I get here? Yep. Like, how the hell I get here? Then lo and behold, when you replace it, like, now see, I did exactly what that food and told me to do, and now I'm here worse. Sometimes what worked back then does not work now. So that's why I say
Yeah.
almost.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the truth. That's the truth. That's a word right there. Will work back then.
Mm,
Ain't always gonna work now.
yeah, exactly.
Anywho, we did see Miss Deb basically summing up her, opinion to the ladies on how they interacted with these people. She just says that they should be trying to impress these executives, not trying to question them. She could have just said that instead of attacking it, but it is what it is.
Right.
So here's the part one of the shadiness and the BS we get from Deb. We see her pull Electra aside, and then she pulls Honeybee aside. And I was confused when she pulled her aside because I was like, why is she upset with how Honeybee is behaving at this event with these executives? And she tells Honeybee, you asked the wrong question. And Honeybee asks, what inspires you to these executives? And she reminded Honeybee that she wants her to sell herself. She says to the confessional, this is a Latino artist, Hispanic, I believe, is when, because she says she's Mexican, which I believe is Hispanic, and Latino is supposed to be different. There's like a whole way to classify that, y'all. I'm not
Yeah.
going to go over that now, but please look into it, Miss Deb. Maybe it's because we're from California. Me and James we are in the Southwest and the West Coast. We have a lot of Hispanics.
Yes. Different kinds, all different flavors, all
Yes.
different, you know.
Florida, you're gonna have more Latino. It's
Florida,
different.
Let me tell you, Florida is a mix of everything, and it's all confusing because everybody look alike. And then when you
Damn.
get the dark ones that there are Latino or Hispanic or something of that, they look just like us. They look like black people. I'll
Mm.
never forget when I first worked at the post office. The lady started speaking to me in Spanish, and I said, "Oh, I don't speak Spanish." She goes, "Your parents don't speak Spanish at home?" And I said, "Well, man, what do you think that I am? I'm black." She go, "I know you're black, but you're Puerto Rican, you're beautiful." And I said, "No, maybe I'm African American. I am not Puerto Rican." She goes, oh, she goes, okay. And then she starts speaking Spanish again. I'm like, okay, she ain't gonna get it. So there you go. But yeah, that's what we
Now
go
she
through.
ain't gonna get it. He just let
She
her.
just, she just not gonna get it. So we just moved on from that. She just wasn't gonna get it. Bless her heart.
Lord help us. But I felt it was weird, y'all. Sorry we got sidetracked. I felt it was very strange that she pulled just Honeybee aside. You would think that she would pull the person aside who asked the question that to me was more the question that needed to get correction, which was Rocky. How long you been doing this? Like Rocky, girl. But she pulls Honeybee aside, which is shady, very, very shady. So then we see Hot Chalk. She's planning, and displaying her rap abilities, which I believe in. Love Hot Chalk. I really do enjoy her. And I thought she was so cute with her little hair and outfit. They did good on her glam on this episode.
Mhm.
They really did.
Yes.
But she starts spitting it. She goes crazy. Izzy drops in. She spits something. She goes crazy. Honeybee drops in. I was not impressed with her rap at all. And at the beginning of this episode, Honeybee was singing. She was a little pitchy, but I think she should maybe get a vocal coach and stick to the singing because her positive raps to me are corny and they don't give.
I agree with you because I was just gonna say that. I was like, I felt like she might be a better vocalist. Maybe not like a singer, but maybe a performer, kind of like Sierra, except with the dance. You know how Sierra's a performer? Maybe she's like
Yeah,
that. Maybe she could
yeah.
follow a good routine and do that because yeah, I didn't think rapping was her strong suit either. I was
I don't
looking at
care
her.
for it. Yeah. I really don't. It gives Belle Biv and DeVoe if they were like a single female. Uh
Yes,
and I love Belle Biv and DeVoe, but yeah, I can't hear
we
this
all
shit
do.
all
Yes.
the time. Lord. Anywho, Honeybee jumps in again. I wasn't impressed. Hugh Camille comes in. I think Hugh Camille does what Honeybee's trying to do, the positive rap without the cursing and stuff. I felt like Hugh Camille did a good job at that. And she admitted something that I think I respected it. She said, I don't freestyle, but I'm going to spit this verse to this track. I've known so many rappers who say they don't freestyle, right? And when called out and having to freestyle, we'll spit a verse. I've seen a lot of rappers do it. A lot of rappers have admitted to do it. Just because you don't know how to freestyle, you still got to do something to show that you could perform and put on. You should have a couple of verses at the top of your head just already ready. Some people really, really freestyle and be about that life. My husband's obsessed with battle rap and he be watching all of that. He's a rapper though, so he's into that. So I know some people will freestyle, some people don't like to. Some people will make you think they're freestyling when they've just remembered a verse. It is what it is. But the number one rule of being any form of a performer or in the limelight, whether you're an author like James or an artist like these people, is don't let people see you sweat and don't just avoid the opportunity to show yourself, and what you come with, your talent. So everybody freestyles, including Big Dank, Rocky spits it, and all of that. And Electra avoided it. If everybody peep, I had a DVR. I watched this a few times, and I looked because I was looking like, where's Electra? All the ladies ended up coming over and taking the opportunity to jump in, and Electra did not do that. And we know that she is the one who is more so famous for being TikTok. She's one of these TikTok artists, which
Mhm.
I hate the energy TikTok gets because there are some actual talented people on TikTok who get hated on just because they got put on through TikTok. But then there's people like Electra on TikTok who have no real talent, in my opinion. They're just pretty, they're entertaining, and good with business. And nothing's wrong with that. That's her skill. But in terms of like art, especially art like rap, which is so connected to poetry and writing,
Right.
all sorts. It's like, come on, Electra. I was annoyed that they even chose her in the first place, but she avoids the freestyle, runs upstairs, and who Camille goes upstairs. And Electra's talking about, I didn't get the opportunity to do the freestyle. I missed it. You didn't miss it. Half of you in them curly braids that's curled at the end but real long was sitting over in the corner watching them, sitting as still as you could, the way the chameleons and the canisters at Petco be looking. You was trying to blend in, heifer. You wasn't trying to spit nothing. You didn't miss your opportunity, baby. You was blending in. She did not want to rap because she knows she cannot rap. She knows she can't rap. So if you know that you can't rap and you can't freestyle, then just say that, or at the very least spit one of your verses. I get a feeling that girl don't even remember any of her actual verses because that was a mess. So she claims this, runs upstairs, and who Camille's there trying to be the positive mom figure and, motivates this girl to show what she can show. She picks up the mics that Miss Deb gives them, which means they're in the competition. And she goes downstairs and she decided to perform to show them what Electra can do, which I was looking at Hugh Camille with a side eye because I was like, girl, why would you tell that girl to go downstairs and try and perform in the living room out the blue at a dinner party? We gonna interrupt it with some loud ass music after y'all just finished. Why would you tell her to do that? Even if she did good, it just was uncouth.
Well, it would have set her up, and that's how I looked at it. I'm like, thank God she did okay, because if she didn't, like, that would have been a whole crazy
Oh no,
situation.
no, no. She did not do okay. The fact that you say that concerns me. Electra did not do okay with
She
that
did
performance
okay, but here's the thing.
at all.
Imagine you. I've been in those situations and did way worse. So that's why I know.
No,
She's like,
no.
no. She's like, no.
No, no, that's an insult to every artist that would hope to perform to even say that she did okay. That girl turned on a loud ass speaker, got a mic that was fake and did not work, put her butt downstairs without no pants, and out of nowhere didn't even give the people proper time, and they was mingling, chatting, having drinks. I'm gonna show you guys what Electra's about. I'm like, what is she doing? Then she didn't have no routine rehearsal. She was just dancing around, which is fine. But then I peeped, I'm like, okay, I hate when people perform with the reference track playing in the background. I hate that. But usually when they do that, you'll at least hear them actually singing. She was lip singing. I said, girl. And then she wasn't even lip syncing on beat with the words that she herself is on the track performing. So I was so bothered by that performance. I understand what she was trying to do, but baby girl, you missed your moment to freestyle. You said it's not what you did. It wasn't part of the competition to do it. I would have preferred if you just stayed your ass in the corner like the little chameleon on the tree log.
Mm, I don't know. I don't. That's not how I feel. But okay.
If you're going to perform and show yourself to people who want to see your talent, and all of these women just spit it bar for bar, and you get up there, we didn't even know the words to the song because you could barely hear it. There's so much auto tune on it. What
There was. The auto
are you,
tune
a
did
singer or a rapper? What are you,
to
Electra?
me. To me, Electra was given like she want to be like Nicki Minaj in a way. That's what she was. You know how Nicki Minaj
Don't
on some
insult
of her
me.
album, on some of her albums she sings, and some of her albums she raps, and then on some songs she does both. It gives me she wants to do that, but she doesn't have a rhythm to do that. Like that's a hard thing to do when the talent isn't really apparent yet. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, Nicki Minaj can rap her ass off. Electra has to. I don't know what it is. I can't even say that she's an artist because the song that she had, you have to give the engineer and the producer credit. I don't get the feeling she writes her own music, so you have to give that credit to somebody else. Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I just for me, I've seen worse,
It
way
was it
worse.
was it was it was interesting. I didn't care for the song either. I can't see younger kids listening to it though. Like if you're
Hmm.
advertising that towards tweens, then yes, that's golden. And to anybody who's like, damn, Mrs. Best, damn, why would you say that? Like tweens, that's people make a lot of money off that. So nothing's wrong with it. I'm just like, it was not the right moment. The performance was a mess to me. It was cringeworthy. But the ladies are sent upstairs. The ladies are sent upstairs, and these execs asked Miss Deb, who are the two that disappointed you the most? And Miss Deb says that Honey Bee let her down, and they were actually surprised because she didn't let people know that she was Latino, and she asked the wrong question. Strange that she was so fixated on Honey Bee when I felt like Rocky actually did worse with the questions. And then she also states she was disappointed by Electra because she missed her moment to freestyle. Um, this show is a mess, y'all. Before we get James's opinion, the last thing we see from this horrendous industry night is the ladies feel like Electra should not have used the house mics that they get to symbolize the fact that they're in the competition and they don't think that she should have lip synced because it was a mess. It was a mess. There's no professional that's going to look at that and say, yes, this is it. She's dancing around a living room, so I don't feel like we should judge it for like an actual performance because it wasn't. She just tried to call it that. She put on a sound system and essentially danced around. But if that's what we have to hope for and look forward to, if you perform Electra, you have a huge amount of work to do. Um, but what are your feelings on all that happened with that dinner?
Um, Honestly, I felt like the Electra thing I agreed with Deb with. I did. But honey, I don't know. I don't know if but I can't be in Deb's mind, so I can't say she wasn't. But I feel like there were more disappointments.
Hmm.
There were way more disappointments in some of the other ones. I just think what it was, and as I said in the beginning of this video, you didn't coach them
Mm-mm.
to be proper of what to ask. See, at least with Charm School, like if we take it back to the VH1 days with Charm School with Monique, when she was trying to, elevate the Flavor Flav ladies, at least there was always a class or a prerequisite before they actually went into whatever the activity was that they were supposed to do. I feel like this episode they did that, but to the extent where it was kind of like, okay, we see that this didn't work. Let's do this and this will work. I feel like that should have been apparent the first exercise too.
I'm gonna say
That's
this: if Miss Deb manages the way that she running the show, I wouldn't want it. And then I also look at the fact when you choosing a manager, you don't want a manager that's got too many stains and histories of bad
well,
relationships and beefs with artists. And it seemed like she get into it with damn near everybody she manages at some point. Uh,
because the thing about it is she doesn't do the proper work to make sure they get elevated. Like they needed media training, they needed proper etiquette skills, they needed speech therapy. They need a lot of work. When you invest yourself into people like this, you need to make sure that they're able to walk into the room, be noticeable, but noticeable in the most positive way ever. I don't think she takes that time out to do it. She's just looking at how they're going to make her money, which in
I
this
think
instance,
part of the reason why she don't take the time out is part of the comment. Welcome to the channel and thank you for commenting. He said Deb's two proteges were probably jealous of Big Molly's success and got her kicked off. We saw Big Molly go home. She did make a mistake with that damn drawing that bucket hat, but I did not feel it was enough for her to go home. I
neither.
also didn't like the fact that they sent her home acting like she had a big head when, as a artist in general, male or female, you got to talk your stuff, stretch your stuff, and act like you are a star. Here's what she, should not do is have an ego. But I did not feel like Big Molly had an ego. She
I
seemed
didn't feel like
free.
that either. I felt like, to me, she was just, it wasn't so much arrogant. She was just
She was
overtly
confident
confident.
in herself,
Yeah, it was
which
over.
touring with Sexy Red and opening up for DaBaby, you're opening up for male artists as a female artist, like that's a big deal. And I
Yeah,
don't that's what made it to where she could find a way to get on the show like this and probably what made you guys want her. So it was weird that they
yeah.
sent
I
her
feel
home.
it was weird that they sent her home, but to me, I kind of feel like the artists that she's naming surpasses some of the people Deb has managed. So I think that for me, it was kind of like she already has her success. So what does she need the show for? But for me, why would y'all invite her here if y'all were
That's
so
the
worried
thing.
about that? Yeah, like why would y'all invite her on this show?
That's the reason, the important part of the comment too, Deb's two proteges, which we're going to get into to discuss actually now. So it turns out, you guys, that Miss Deb announces at the end of everything she's not going to pick anyone who's going to go home. She acts like she's struggling. And the next morning comes and they put a whole little disclaimer on the screen. And we find out that overnight, while the cameras were not there, the cast became extremely upset because Elektra was not eliminated. Part of the reason that they're upset is because a few of the ladies found out through Honeybee and Electra's mouth that they were already living with Deb, already being managed and working with Deb, and basically are only one of them said, they said Honeybee said that she was supposed to win the show and Electra's supposed to be here so she can understand like the work that artists put in, because she's just on TikTok fame thinking she'll never have to write and don't have to learn anything. So the ladies are pissed off about that. And Izzy explains that Honeybee's whole attitude, the positivity has changed. And I actually think that's extremely important because Honeybee's attitude did change. She went from happy go lucky, I'm about positivity and all of this, to having an attitude about being somebody who was deceptive in who you were, what you was doing, and all of those things. So the two proteges that Prod 511 Rocker, welcome to the channel, commented where he says they were probably jealous of Big Molly's success and that got her kicked off. I agree with that statement because we know now from this episode that those two proteges are Honeybee and Elektra. Both of them, in my opinion, were the least talented, and the two that I was surprised, if you guys go back to our first recap, I was surprised that they made it through considering all the other talent that was there. So it makes sense that they would want a girl who's got confidence and is talking about all the success that she's had and how either way she's blessed, whether she wins or loses. They probably did get jealous of that and text Deb like, nah, we have no shot if this person's here. So I think that's a very good point to bring up. I hate that they even did this with the show, but the drama comes from the fact that Elektra basically was honest with the girls. And I do think Elektra felt bad and had some type of a heart because these girls have really lifted each other up and tried to help each other, from keeping each other calm so they don't get sent home to fighting, to uplifting Dank. Like they seem to have really been there for each other, which we liked. But it turns out Deb was lying to everybody. That's what I got from it. Honeybee and Elektra made it very clear I was just doing what I was told, which I understand that, but I don't respect artists like that too. You don't have to lay down on your back and spread it wide and drop it low for the label or for your managers. You don't have to be willing to do all of that for fame and all of that. Like,
I agree.
That's where it crosses into versus you wanting to be successful to being thirsty and desperate. And that's essentially what she admits to doing when she says that she was doing what Deb, told her to do. So it's a hot mess. Deb explains that Honeybee and Elektra, because she does come the next day, and she explains that Honeybee and Elektra did live with her. At first, Deb tries to say they don't live with her now, but then as it continues, and the ladies basically came together and they said, listen, we're gonna go the fuck home, all of us, if you don't send these two home. And that's when Deb changes her tune and it's like, yes, they lived with me, and that doesn't mean that they should not be able to be here. Why are y'all still upset? And, then it gets messier because Honeybee claims that Miss Deb treated her badly while living in her house, which multiple people have attested to, from growing up hip hop to being off camera to artists who have made it. People have said this about Deb. It's the same stuff. She says she was treated bad, was not given, records to record. Deb did not support her, says she needed to work on some things, and so she wouldn't give her records. She wouldn't pay for studio time. And that's really not up for your manager to say, for those who don't know. Miss Deb is a different type of manager because she has a lot of money, and she has a habit, in my opinion, of going for artists that are new, like new artists that don't really know much about the industry, or artists that are desperate like Johnny Blaze. So I'm just keeping it real. The girl can sing. She's so talented, but James is like, no, Abina. It's true. Miss Deb has a type. And I don't think that she's gonna find the next Nicki Minaj or the next
No, because there's only one. And I think that's her problem. If she would just build people originally how they come and work with them, they will probably be just as big. But the problem is that she's trying to mold. That's what a lot of managers try to do, because once they figure out what works, then they're going to try to mold people to that vision or dream that they have, instead of scouting talent and seeing the natural ability that they do have and working on that. Because all of these women, with the exception of maybe two, really could be huge. But the problem is they're not being guided correctly, and they don't know to do stuff because they see people, they're like, oh, if you just practice on your craft, then everything will work out just fine. When it's like, no, that's not how that works. You have to be marketable. You have to be approachable. You have to learn how to speak correctly. You have to learn how to be able to be in environments that are uncomfortable. And all of these women are not put through these type of exercises where that's going to happen, because there's going to be plenty of times they're going to be in uncomfortable situations. There's going to be plenty of times where they're going to get cheated out of money. The music industry is very cutthroat and does not care.
Yep. Yeah. The music industry is terrible. The stuff that even my husband has dealt with is crazy. There's a lot that goes on with that, and everything that you said is true that needs to happen. But I think that the energy I got is, I feel like Deb put this show on so that because she had a contract with WeTV, which we know already, growing up hip hop's gone, and we've seen them take some of those main people on the show, like the Brat, who now has her own show, and Deb, who got her own show, and a couple of others, and we've seen them spread out. So I don't know if it's got something to do with that. But it seems like she took this show and made it an opportunity to take two artists that she believes in and give them a chance. I feel like with Electra, she was trying to show her, baby girl, you're going to have to do more than just be cute. Look what these women will do. And I think with Honeybee, I think got an attitude problem as a whole. I think Honeybee is big in her head and probably a little privileged and entitled. And I feel like Deb did this to try and humble her. But Electra also claims that Deb yells at her all the time, living with her. Not surprised. And we see Dank, Hot Chalk, and Rocky go off. But I was almost in tears because I did actually feel for these ladies when they was finished. He said, "Where did Honeybee go for 3 hours?"
Nobody knows.
Only Jesus and his little
Right.
disciples and saints and all of
Nobody
them.
knows where they. I was confused about that too. I was like, so we just not going to address this at all? Like,
Right. It was stuff that was happening when they're playing stuff back in the clips, y'all. Like when Honeybee met the executive and she was like, "Nice to meet you again." I was like, a Spago always show itself the little stuff that you start to see and you're like, oh, now that makes sense. I actually respect the hell out of all the other ladies for sticking together and doing what they did. That's not okay. Like Rocky said, people did everything they could to get there. Hot Chalk, baby daddy was in jail and she didn't pick him up. She left his ass there to try and get to try and get here just to audition. Dank can barely stand up. This girl cannot barely stand without pain that brings her to tears. And you got these two women who are weak as hell. Y'all know I never felt Honeybee. I'm all for positivity, but I don't feel like her delivery or cadence is there. And that's just how I feel. And even her singing that she did at the beginning of this was pitchy as hell. Speaking of singing, I'll have music coming soon. I'm just saying. But that I don't understand why they would put these girls with some chicks that really is like trying to make something out of nothing. It just did not make no sense. So they go off. Dank's crying, like, doing the most. And Deb does end up sending Honeybee and Electra home because she knows that the only fucking way that she would save her show and her reputation is to send them home. Because now, how can anybody trust you? Like, not just the artists that are here, but like, how can artists trust you? They're hearing that you're treating the ones living with you like crap. They getting hollered at every day and aren't allowed to record and perform like they want to. And then you have artists that are actually talented that you're just using as a pawn to teach lessons to these talentless heifers.
it's not even that she's using them as a pawn. She's using them for checks. That's how this
Yep.
is coming off. You're
Yep.
using them for the check because one, some of them are gonna act a fool. Some of them really want this opportunity that they think they're gonna have, but realize that they don't. And it's just all coming across as, like, I hate to say it, scamish. It just is. And
It's shady. Yeah, it
and
doesn't
you
feel
and
right. It's an insult. And then you
like
have these bitches take their weaves out. I'm
right.
sorry, y'all. I don't mean to sound ratchet or none of that. I'ma just say this. I just got my hair done yesterday. I'll be damned if I go into a competition. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna take this all out so
Well,
we can see the real you." What the
that's a
hell is
valid
the
point,
point in
because
it?
then what was the point of that
What
exercise?
was the point in the
What was the
exercise?
point of that then? If you are,
He
It was
said
like,
those ladies wanted this so bad, and to find out it was rigged was purely diabolical. It's such an insult. It's
right.
such an insult.
Because you have people who really believe that this is their dream, this is their destiny. Like this moment came knocking on their door, and here I am. I'm trying to compete, but then all of a sudden, you already have what you need. You just need us for ratings and a check. And it's like, well, what are
Miss
we?
Deb, I don't like her attitude either about it because it's like, how did these ladies know that you're actually serious about
Right.
dishing out a contract to, work with them as management? How did they know you're
Exactly.
serious? You sent them home because there's contracts involved. And if they all leave, that's on you. It's your show at We TV. So this was just a mess. But she does send the ladies home, but Honeybee is still mad. And this is what I don't like. Ooh, I wanted to snatch her up. I really did through the cat. I wanted to snatch her up. I did. James knows. He know I'm quick.
Hmm.
I wanted to get her. Cause why are you mad, young lady? These women are here rapping about their pain, their struggles, and actually sacrifice something. Why are you mad, honeybee? I don't understand it. Now she claims that she never said she would win. Why would five other women, why would these women lie on you? Why would multiple people lie about this? And then Deb just confirmed everything you tried to say you lied about. So why are you still trying to lie? It doesn't make sense. And then you're doing so with a nasty ass attitude, like a bitch can't get smacked in the mouth. I don't understand why she was acting like that. And I think I don't know, she's trying to provoke these ladies, but Hot Chalk smacks her. Shout out to Philly. I like y'all. Chuck smacked her, and Rocky had to be physically removed because Miss Deb, I think Miss Deb knows. I feel like Honeybee. We know Electra can't fight, but I feel like Honeybee's that chick who thinks she can fight, but just they met the right opponents. And I feel like Hot Chalk and Rocky would have been the right ones for her to beat, especially how smoothly Hot Chalk smacked her. I wish I could have rewinded and put it in slow mo. It was the smoothest smack and it connected
Right.
and it made a noise. I'm just saying.
It reminded me of like when on Love and Hip Hop that one season, Joe Button's ex that was on the show that hit the current girlfriend he had. She did it in a way because you saw security there, but she did it in a way where she's still connected with her. And it's like you didn't see it coming. You didn't know she got slapped until she said, "Oh my god!" You know how girls get when you hit them and stuff. They get all belligerent and want to start throwing shit, and that's how it was. That's what it reminded me of. It was so
It wasn't,
perfect.
no, because that's, wait, it's the comment. We need to call an emergency prayer warrior meeting to ensure that Hot Shot does not go home for that justified pop. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. And I love how she kept herself calm because she knew security was going to keep her back. Now, that's how you use security to your advantage. It was just a pop. She had to let her know. But no, for real, y'all, Honeybee lost her moment. She did exactly what James said. She got belligerent. For what I saw where it ended, I'm seeing chairs get thrown. That is not the attitude or the behavior of somebody who has changed and found peace and positivity and clarity. Honeybee, that is not girl power. If
It
you
is not.
what was
It is.
that?
It was, yeah. It was very much. It didn't take much to get you.
It didn't.
It didn't
It
take
just
much to get
didn't.
you, ma'am. It just you was ready. I mean,
Somebody tell her she rapped like Cool in the Gang, mixed in with Big Daddy Kane and a little bit of Run DMC. How she raps to me. I'm going to hell.
I
Okay,
thought that was pretty good.
it's my opinion she do. When I first heard Honeybee rap, I was like, oh, this is retro. This is nostalgic in ways that are before my time. I be slapping all of them too. I don't care. But she raps weirdly. So she gets the attitude. She got popped in the mouth, lost her moment, but she did get to hit the chair. So that's good for her.
I
We're
mean, she was hitting it too. I was like, now
prayer
see,
warriors. We don't want Hot
yeah,
Shot gone.
we don't.
We need her to stay.
We don't, because that made me like her a little bit more.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't know how I was going to receive her, just because I felt like she came in on rah rah, and it was like, ma'am, you don't have to do all of this. What the hell? But then when I saw her do that, it was so justifiable. I was like, okay, I do like her now.
Listen, I'm for it. What I will say about this episode, I'm annoyed with Deb Antony, but I didn't really never care for Deb. But I do music reviews. I love music, and I love that there was female rappers who got a show who could actually rap. So I'm going to continue to cover the show. I'm going to continue. We will be back again next week for another recap. But I really think Deb needs to like address the foolery in some way. She took zero accountability, in my opinion. I'm glad that they were sent home, but Deb, you need to apologize. You owe each and every one of them an apology. And it seems like Deb's not going to give them an apology and is not
Nope.
apologetic because she's like, well, you're just a bunch of independent artists. And if a person will look at you like that, you don't want them a part of your career.
You just have to be careful. If anything, if this to teach anybody anything, be careful about the opportunities you take and do background checks and do Google reviews on the people you choose to sign up for opportunities with.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is Yelp reviews all over about her. And I get it's reality TV. Reality TV sells, even if you just need it for a couple of episodes, just so that way you could have a name. I totally understand that. But at the same time, that doesn't always go well. I'm just saying that doesn't always go well.
Mm.
And lady, stop acting a fool on national TV because you think that that's just going to get your name and that people are laughing for you when people really are laughing directly at your ass.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I'm proud of these ladies for standing up for themselves. And good job to WeTV for breaking the fourth wall to show all this foolery because it wouldn't have made sense if we didn't see it. And hopefully, Miss Deb, she hasn't figured her wigs out, but maybe she'll figure this out. So we are going to leave this here. I appreciate everybody who watches. If you are here now, hi y'all. I appreciate you guys for watching. We really do. We are a newer YouTube channel, newer YouTubers. We're just trying to be consistent and report on shows that we like, things we're passionate on. I am doing my best to always be improving. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
I
you. That's very
appreciate
nice. Very
that.
nice comment.
It means that world. I've always tried to improve. We are going to be back for another Deb's House recap next week. If you guys want me to recap any other shows, I am open to suggestions. Please let me know. The link to James's channel, it's in the description. Click it because I do a lot of
Yes.
recaps with them. So many.
Yes. Yeah, just like in about 10 minutes or so, we're about to do one on Family Empire Houston. So y'all make sure y'all come on over and let's hear some opinions on some real estate
Get some therapy.
and some family drama. Yeah, and some family drama and some much needed therapy for some people. We finna call it out. So make sure you guys are there. And once again, Mrs. Best, thank you for having me on this recap.
Always, always. I love all of you guys. Thug Life, like the video. Shout out to the replay gang. We'll be back on Monday or Tuesday for Basketball Wives for the next show recap. And then I'm also having a music review. So with that, I bid you farewell. Bye.
Bye.